Hello and welcome back to our next lesson. This lesson is going to be over something called Scratchboard art. Now, Scratchboard art, some of you might have heard of this, but it is a kind of art style that you start with the darker values first, and then you scratch away on the surface to reveal the lighter colors under it. So it's kind of like drawing in reverse, and that's what I like to tell my students that it's like. Traditional scratchboards, you actually start with a hard surface or a hard board that has white under it and then some black ink put over top of it, and you scratch away the black to show the white under it. And you can get these in boards, you can also get these in paper too. But what we're going to be using, we're actually going to be doing this digitally. So let me show you the three different methods that you can use to create a Scratchboard artwork. The first one is Stippling, and you may notice these are exactly the same things that we use whenever we're creating values. However, we're not going to be using shading because with shading you actually need to blend, and you can't really do that with scratchboards. But stippling is whenever you take the work and you basically just dot it a bunch. So you take your scraper tool and you just make little indentions or dots, and it creates a dotted kind of pointillism effect. Now hatching is the next one, and you can, if you remember hatching from the previous lesson on how to make values, it's just a horizontal line or a line going diagonally one way. And hatching can be used in scratchboards to create values as well. So one thing you want to keep in mind whenever you're making a scratchboard, you start off with the darker values and you work your way to lighter. So the more values you put closer together, the lighter it's going to be. So the more hatching you put closer together, the lighter it is. This is a close-up of hatching. Now, you also have crosshatching. Crosshatching is the same thing as hatching, except for every line you go one way, you make another line going the opposite direction, just like this. So now I'm going to show you some examples of scratchboards. These are some examples that were done on actual scratchboards, and I do have a digital scratchboard coming up, but it's very simple concept, but it's kind of difficult to wrap your head around it because a lot of people think of it like drawing, and it is like drawing. It's very similar to drawing. It's just drawing in reverse. You start off with a black canvas instead of a white canvas, and you bring the white out of it instead of putting the dark lines down. You bring the white lines out. This is an example of a digital scratchboard right here. And there's all kinds of different effects you can make with scratchboards. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you what program we're going to be using to create these. Okay, so the program that we're going to be using is actually an online source, and it's called YouIDraw.com. So the word U, letter I, draw.com. And we are going to be using the Painter app in here. The first thing that we want to do, we want to start with a black background. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select the paint bucket tool, which is this. And then I'm going to change my foreground color to black. Right now it's set to gray. So all I'm going to do that, I'm going to click this color swatch and I'm going to click and drag and drop my color all the way down in the bottom corner, and that is going to be black. Then I can click off over here, and when I do, it's going to paint the canvas black. Okay, now I'm going to come right over here to our tools, and I'm going to select the pencil tool or the pen tool. I'm then going to come up here to the type, and I'm going to change this from sketchy to plain. All this is just different types of things that you can have on there. And then if I draw on here right now, we're actually not going to see anything because I have my foreground color set to black. I actually want to change that to white. So select the color swatch, come up to white, make sure it's selected on there, and click off. And at this point, you can actually start drawing whatever you want to draw on here. And just remember that whenever you are drawing, with scratchboards, you are trying to bring out the white of your image. That means that you are going to want to have straight lines going in it. So you're either doing hatching, cross hatching, or stippling. and you want to try to leave the dark areas alone and just bring out the white areas. So it takes a little bit of time to do this, takes a little bit of practice. Don't expect to be amazing at this right off the bat, okay? It's going to take a little bit of time for you to get used to it and for you to practice. That's fine, that's okay. But what you're going to try to do, you're going to try to make your very own artwork just using black and white lines. That's it. So right here I kind of made an iris, and then I have the eyelid right there, comes down into right about that. Okay, that is a really quick example of a scratchboard. Now obviously you're going to want to spend a little bit of time on this. You're going to want to practice on it. That's fine. Go ahead. If you want to erase, the best way to erase with this is not to do the paint bucket, because if you do the paint bucket, you're going to see it's just going to cover the whole thing. Boom, it's gone. You don't want to do that. If you ever want to undo, all you have to do is hit Control Z. That undoes this. There is probably a setting up here somewhere. I just don't know exactly where that is. But if you want to erase, I would suggest going and getting the brush tool right here and then changing the color to black. And then you can go in and erase whatever you want. And then just change it right back to white and you're good to start drawing again. Now I'm going to change over and I'm going to show you something else. Okay, so as you can see, I am on my work computer right here. I don't actually have anything set up with a laptop. However, if you did have your laptop, and I'm assuming that's probably what you're going to be using, you can use something like this. This is actually a stylus. Now these come in all different kinds of shapes and forms, and some of them are actually pins where you can click the tip of them and use it as a pin. These actually work on your trackpad on your computer. I had no idea about that until later last year, but yeah, these do actually work. So you can put this down on your trackpad and actually use it like a pen. So with this project, if this is something that you want to do and you think you could use this, go ahead and grab one. They're not very expensive, and more than likely you probably have one laying around your house. I know we have several just in pens that we've picked up from the bank and things like that. So if you have any of these, you'd like to try it out, go ahead. I think they make it a lot easier to use as opposed to your mouse, because painting with a mouse is terrible in my opinion. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change back over here. So that is your assignment. What you're going to try to do, you are trying to create your very own artwork using this Scratchboard imagery. Now, you're going to have a few days to work on this. Don't stress over it. You're not going to get it perfect the first time around. Practice with it. Use the first one. See if you can get something that you like, and just try to practice with it and goof off with the program. Whenever you feel more comfortable, then you can actually start your real one. How you save your file. If you want to save it, you come right up here to File. Oh, and here's the undo and redo buttons there. File, undo, redo. If you want to save, go up to File, go to Export, and there's your image. All you have to do is right click and go to Save Image. That's it. That's simple. You even have it right here too. So, very easy to work with. If you want to make a new one, all you have to do is go up to File, New Image, and hit OK, and there's a brand new picture for you. Okay, go ahead, the first day I want you to goof off with this program, see what you can come up with. The second day, I want you to really think about what image you want to use, and then try to make that image into a Scratchboard artwork. Well, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. If you are not one of my students and you would like to follow along with us or become one of the students, go ahead, subscribe to our channel, because I'm going to be updating my videos and uploading them periodically throughout the next couple weeks. If you'd like to participate in the classroom, subscribe to us, because then you'll be notified whenever I get a new lesson up. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you have a great day.